Mr. Chapman, you are an example and an inspiration to our 8th graders as they begin their high school careers. I will now lead the inductees in the pledge for membership into the National Junior Honor Society. Please stand and repeat after me. I pledge myself to uphold the high purpose of the National Junior Honor Society, to which I have been selected. I will be true to the principles for which it stands. I will be loyal to my school. And will maintain and encourage high standards of scholarship, service, leadership, citizenship, and character. At this time, it gives me great pleasure to recognize tonight the 2019 inductees of the National Junior Honor Society. Certificates will be presented by Principal Mr. Luke Carroll and assisted by Society Advisor Ms. Maura Richards. Inductees, please come forward as your name is called. Honored guests are asked to hold their applause until all the candidates have been recognized. Amelia Andre. Amelia plays cello in both the chamber orchestra and the 8th grade string ensemble. Through this, she participated in junior district and SEMSPA. She also participated in Project 351, an organization that helps 8th graders in Massachusetts to help serve the community. She would like to thank Mrs. Floyd for inspiring her to continue playing the cello. Peter Andromeda. Peter plays basketball and enjoys being outside. He would like to thank Mrs. Lees because she introduced him to the town and helped him learn. Bo Aniston. Bo plays baseball and participates in track and field. He also volunteers by walking people's dogs and umpires at militia field. He would like to thank Mrs. Richards for helping him to understand the importance of the English language and how the components of it can help him in the real world. Sophia Belanger. Sophia is a member of Buddies, volunteers at the Easton Children's Museum and her church. She enjoys swimming. She would like to thank her 5th grade teacher, Mrs. Dorman, because she has helped her to be successful in her learning. Julia Berry. Julia is a member of Buddies, Student Council, and Image. She would like to thank Miss Gerson because she helped her to love English. Tyler Billy. Tyler plays lacrosse and is interested in robotics. He volunteers at Camp Sugar, a camp for special needs children. He would like to thank Ms. Gerstein. Madeline Bornstein. Madeline volunteers with Buddies in her dance studio. She plays field hockey and dances. She would like to thank Mrs. Prisnovskis for being a helpful and encouraging teacher. Nicholas Bowers. Nicholas participates in both gymnastics and baseball. He also volunteers at Buddies. He would like to thank Mrs. Conley because she helps him to earn good grades. William Burns. William is in the orchestra, chamber orchestra, and the orchestra ensemble. He enjoys both music and singing. He would like to thank Mrs. Floyd because she helped him to improve his playing. Samantha Burrow. Samantha is a competitive Excel Platinum level gymnast. She also volunteers at the YMCA, Maplewood Family Fun Fest, and Mom's Club activities. She would like to thank Mrs. Boland because she helped her understand school and taught in a way that helped her to understand her work. She also never gave up on Samantha. Sophia Byron. Sophia plays both soccer and basketball. She would like to thank Mr. Cardullo for always helping her when she needed it, both in school and out of school. Molly Capiz. Molly is the National Junior Honor Society Secretary. She plays both soccer and basketball and volunteers with Buddies. She would like to thank Mrs. Osnoskis for helping her in math and making math fun. John Carey. John is a 3-sport athlete and the captain of his football team. He plays in the jazz band as well. John would like to thank Mr. Benson because he taught him the importance of learning. Isabella Carney. Isabella plays soccer and volleyball. She also volunteers with Buddies and My Brother's Keeper. She would like to thank Mrs. Baxter because she inspired her to be the best she can and always try her hardest. Wayne Casey. Wayne is a 3-sport athlete. He plays football, baseball, and basketball. He wants to thank Mr. O'Brien because he has pushed him to be the best in and out of the classroom. Kirsten Chan. Kirsten participates in Buddies. She also loves to dance and paint. Kirsten would like to thank her 4th grade teacher, Miss Farrah, because she made learning interesting and fun. Riley Corneen. Riley plays field hockey for Lead the Way. She also volunteers with Buddies and Pals. She would like to thank Mrs. O'Brien for pushing her to be her best in math. Danielle Cohen. Danielle volunteers by raising money to find cures to different diseases. She also does cheerleading competitively. She would like to thank Ms. Mullins for helping her when she needs support. Mary Cross. Mary is a member of Buddies and plays both soccer and lacrosse. She would like to thank Mrs. Dorman, who always taught her in a fun way. Leah Curtin. Leah participates in swim team outside of school. She enjoys being outside and painting. She would like to thank Ms. Coyne for supporting her learning. Sophia David. Sophia is the treasurer of the National Junior Honor Society and a member of Buddies. She enjoys playing field hockey and practicing the alto saxophone. She would like to thank Mr. Benson for guiding her along her musical path, also for teaching her valuable life lessons for the past 4 years. Abby Acudo. Abby participates in competitive gymnastics outside of school. She also volunteers for Buddies. She would like to thank Ms. Farrow because she inspired her to do the best in school and to want to learn new things. Tyler Delamere. Tyler participates in field hockey and competitive cheerleading. She would like to thank Mr. Cardulo, her 7th grade history teacher, for teaching her so much and making her enjoy class. Helena Dobbins. Helena plays soccer and enjoys that it helps her be both a team player and a leader. She would like to thank Mr. Cardulo for always believing in her and guiding her to succeed to her full potential. Emma Donovan. Emma is a member of Buddies. She also plays field hockey and skis. She would like to thank Mrs. Pratt, who has pushed her to work hard and do her best. Grace Dupo. Grace plays basketball and volunteers at Dana Barras. She always volunteers with Buddies and Pals. She would like to thank Mrs. Allison because she makes school enjoyable. She is a great teacher and person who cares about her students and always helps them when they need it. Sarah Alhade. She plays soccer for GPS and Easton travel team. She also referees youth soccer in Easton. She would like to thank Mrs. Visnoscus because she supports her in learning and helps her when she needs it. Christopher Elias. Christopher plays both basketball for the Easton Middle School, AAU, and travel team. He would like to thank Mr. O'Brien because he has pushed him to work to the best of his abilities in both school and basketball. He was also a good role model for Chris. Elizabeth Meany. Elizabeth has been a member of Buddies and enjoys volunteering at their events, especially the Special Olympics. She also enjoys dancing outside of school. Elizabeth would like to thank Mr. Benson because he has pushed her to become educated in both band and school and has supported her since she was a kid. Juliana Ferrara. Juliana is a member of Buddies at Easton Middle School. She also participates in dance. Juliana would like to thank her first grade teacher, Mrs. Paul, because she taught her how to read and write. Lillian Ferraro. Lillian participates in Buddies. She also does Easton Middle School track and field. Lillian also participates in Easton Middle School jazz band and All American marching band. She would like to thank Mr. Benson because he's a teacher who has inspired her as a student. Nicholas Farini. Nicholas plays both baseball and soccer. He umpires for Little League in Easton. He would like to thank Mr. Corriel because he has made learning fun. Alexander Feeney. Alexander plays soccer and basketball. He volunteers at Maplewood during the summer. He would like to thank Mrs. Richards because she brings a fun environment to the yellow team. Jacqueline Finn. Jacqueline participates in Buddies at Easton Middle School. She also plays volleyball. She would like to thank Mr. Smith because he made learning fun and taught students valuable lessons. Patrick Finnerty. Patrick plays baseball for East Coast Eagles and track and field for Easton Middle School. He also volunteers at the NRT camp at Sheep Pasture. He would like to thank Mrs. Maffeo for helping him to love U.S. history and supporting his love of baseball. Ava Ford. Ava is a member of Buddies. She also raises money for the Jimmy Fund through her dance studio, Dance Express. She would like to thank Mrs. Salinas for supporting her interest in learning. Brooke Foreman. Brooke volunteers with children at her Hebrew school. She also participates in both gymnastics and cheerleading. She would like to thank Miss Mullins because she is a good teacher who has helped Brooke a lot with math. Carly Gibson. Carly plays soccer and skis. Carly referees youth soccer and also plays competitively. She would like to thank Mr. Cardulo because he has helped her a lot learn about geography and enjoy learning. Christina Gillis. Christina is the Vice President of the National Junior Honor Society. She also plays soccer and participates in Buddies. She would like to thank Mrs. De Silva for making Spanish fun and entertaining. Jenna Gilman. Jenna is a member of Buddies. She enjoys playing soccer outside of school. Jenna would like to thank Mrs. Dorman for sparking her interest in learning. Ryan Zingola. Ryan plays basketball at Easton Middle School, Santa Barros, and the Easton travel team. He would like to thank Mr. Visnoskas for helping him with Adopt the Classroom and making it fun. Jared Gossip. Jared plays baseball throughout the year. He also helps out with Easton Youth Baseball. He would like to thank Mr. O'Brien because he had helped him improve his grades and was always there to help him. He was also Jared's baseball coach and helped him improve as a player. Ashley Griffith. Ashley is a Girl Scout and participates in buddies. She enjoys playing the cello, making art, and acting. She would like to thank Ms. Drews for helping her support her learning. Abigail Haggerty. Abigail is the historian of the National Junior Honor Society. She is a member of Buddies at Easton Middle School. She would like to thank Mrs. Durkeen because she made school fun for her. She also helped her to meet one of her best friends and improve her English. Christian Heichel. Christian plays for Global Premier Soccer. He volunteers at his dad's real estate company. He would like to thank Ms. Salinas because she pushed him to improve at learning a foreign language. Tegan Hodges. Tegan is a member of Buddies. She also referees children's soccer. She enjoys playing basketball and soccer. She would like to thank Mrs. Walker for helping her become a stronger math student and helping her to love learning. Grace Hauser. Grace is the National Junior Honor Society parliamentarian. She plays both soccer and tennis. She also participates in Buddies. She would like to thank Mr. Smith for encouraging her love of learning and her competitive spirit in the classroom. Donovan Howard. Donovan plays basketball for Easton Middle School. He volunteers for many different associations, including School on Wheels and the Easton Food Pantry. He would like to thank Mr. O'Brien for supporting his learning and for being his coach. Malia Hunt. Malia is part of a gymnastics team and volunteers at the gym. She is a member of Buddies at Easton Middle School. She would like to thank Mr. DePaulo because he has supported her throughout her middle school years and has helped her to become a better student. Noah Islip. Noah plays hockey, lacrosse, and golf. Noah participates in Buddies. He also volunteers at PMC and the NRT Fair in Easton every year. He would like to thank Mrs. Richards for always being there to help and make sure he understands English. Caitlin Ivanovsky. Caitlin participates in art club and cross country. She would like to thank Mrs. Walker, her 7th grade math teacher, for always staying after and helping her. Jenna Keene. Jenna is the captain of her club soccer team. She also participates in Buddies and Pals at Easton Middle School. She would like to thank Miss Moody for always helping her. Bella Kesselman. Bella volunteers at the Council on Aging and loves to be outside. Bella would like to thank Mr. Erickson because he makes her day more fun and is a helpful teacher. Patrick Kieran. Patrick plays baseball for GVG Hawks and snowboards. He also participates in Buddies at Easton Middle School. He would like to thank Mrs. Pratt for encouraging him to push himself to the next level. Matthew Lee. Matthew plays soccer. He is part of the chamber orchestra and 8th grade string ensemble. He would like to thank Mr. Correal because he made English easier and helps Matthew's understanding of the subject. Ryan LeMay. Ryan is a member of Buddies and completed his service hours as a leadership youth at Sheep Pasture, Schools on Wheels, and Camp Surefire. His free time is spent on the pitcher's mound for his AAU baseball team or spent with his family. He would like to thank Mrs. O'Brien for supporting him in his learning and building his confidence as a student. Jamison Levine. Jamison is part of Easton Middle School Student Council. She volunteers and dances at Dance Express. Through the studio, she helps with a fundraiser for the Jimmy Fund. Jamison would like to thank Mrs. Sarah for encouraging her to push her boundaries and always be creative. Gloria Long. Gloria participates in Buddies at Easton Middle School. She also is a member of the orchestra. She would like to thank Mrs. Richards because she makes English fun and helped her with National Junior Honor Society. Tenley Bosch. Tenley is a member of Buddies at Easton Middle School. She also plays softball and sales. She would like to thank Mrs. O'Brien because she helped her to become a better student in math and always believed in her. Nathan Luke. Nathan plays football, basketball, and baseball. He would like to thank Mr. Correal because he pushed him to success at all times. He also helped Nathan to learn to be himself and exceed expectations. Henry Mom. Henry is a member of the chamber orchestra and the 8th grade string ensemble. He enjoys to play both the piano and violin. He also volunteers at the Amesbury Library and participates in track and field. He would like to thank Mrs. Finch for encouraging him to learn more and teaching him important lessons. Michael McAdams. Michael plays soccer and competes at track. He also enjoys playing the drums and the piano. He would like to thank Mrs. Blaine for encouraging him to become the best student he can be. Megan McDonald. Megan plays basketball and lacrosse. She also participates in Buddies at Easton Middle School. Megan would like to thank her fourth grade teacher, Mrs. Luke, because the way she taught made learning fun and inspiring. Allison Manson. Allison plays soccer and enjoys rugby and snowboarding. She also participates in Buddies. She would like to thank Miss Bailey for helping her with her academics in 7th grade. Jake Mandus. Jake is a member of the Easton Middle School band and Buddies. He also plays soccer and lacrosse. He would like to thank Mrs. Kerner for encouraging him to strive to get good grades. Larissa Martins. Larissa is the president of National Junior Honor Society and a member of Buddies. She enjoys singing, dancing, and playing volleyball. She would like to thank Ms. Kerner for being the most funny and happy teacher she has had and for making her excited to go to school every day. Sean McCarthy. Sean enjoys volunteering at a non-profit hockey program to help with younger kids and play sports outside of school. Sean would like to thank Mrs. O'Brien for helping him to find something fun in learning and helping him to strive to improve his grades. Michael McGinnis. Michael is a member of Buddies at Easton Middle School. He also plays baseball and golf outside of school. He wants to thank Mr. O'Brien for helping him with English and making it fun. Michaela Ladira. Michaela is a member of Buddies at Easton Middle School. She enjoys dance outside of school. She would like to thank Mr. Sager because he inspired her to always work her hardest. Catherine Melendi. Catherine participates in Buddies at Easton Middle School. She plays the xylophone in band. She also plays softball for Easton. Catherine would like to thank Ms. Mullins, who has helped her a lot by answering questions and caring about her needs. Janelle Milo. Janelle is a member of Buddies and participates in other volunteer activities. She also plays basketball and participates in track and field. She would like to thank Mrs. Blaine because she has helped her learn and understand math. She also is a kind and funny teacher. Marina Mierzwinski. Marina is a member of Buddies at Easton Middle School. She also plays soccer. She would like to thank Miss Whalen for making her 6th grade experience easier and more fun. Jack Morley. Jack is a member of Buddies at Easton Middle School. He also plays baseball and football. He would like to thank Mr. Cortreal because he is a fun and supportive teacher who helped him enjoy 7th grade English. Beatrice Nasser. Beatrice is a member of Buddies, Art Club, and the Foreign Language Club. She participates in track and field, volleyball, and cross country. She is also a member of show choir. She would like to thank Mrs. McDonough because she has challenged her in class and continues to help her. Mireille Niemer. Mireille is a member of Buddies and a former member of the Student Council. She plays tennis and participates in karate where she has earned a 2nd-degree black belt. Mireille is also a member of chamber orchestra and string ensemble. She would like to thank Mrs. Baxter for giving her the skills she needs to be successful in middle school. Alex Parker. Alex is a member of Buddies and volunteers at his temple. He participates in both track and tennis. He would like to thank Mr. Smith for his continued support in Alex's learning. Owen Parker. Owen has participated in and volunteers at Easton Children's Theater and at Parkview. Owen also participates in track and field and musical theater. He would like to thank Mrs. Estancias for always helping him learn and be supportive. Cassandra Cassius. Cassandra is a member of Jazz Band and Buddies at Easton Middle School. She participates in a lot of volunteer work, including being a part of her church youth organization. She also sings and dances. She would like to thank Mr. Benson because he has supported her for 5 years and started her love with clarinet. Daniel Paul. Daniel is a member of Buddies at Easton Middle School. He also plays hockey and golf. He would like to thank Mrs. Baxter because she is really nice and helped him learn a lot. Reese Carrera. Reese is a member of Buddies. She also plays hockey, soccer, and lacrosse. She would like to thank Mrs. O'Brien for all she has taught her. John Perrin. John is a member of Buddies at Easton Middle School. He plays both hockey and baseball for Easton. He would like to thank Mr. Cortreal because he helps him to enjoy learning. Alexander Pierce. Alexander volunteers at Anstey Library in Easton. He also participates in cross-country and track and field. He would like to thank Mrs. Pratt because she pushed him to try his hardest and put all of his effort into school. Charles Pomfret. Charles participates in mixed martial arts. He also volunteers at Luzon Mixed Martial Arts. He would like to thank Mr. Smith for sparking his interest in math. Olivia Puzzoli. Olivia plays basketball for both Easton and Dana Barrows. She also plays soccer and is a member of Buddies and Pals at Easton Middle School. She would like to thank Miss Salinas because she has taught her a lot and understands foreign languages. Benjamin Reardon. Benjamin plays lacrosse and soccer. He also volunteers by donating supplies to a local animal shelter. He would like to thank Mrs. Pratt because she has pushed him to be the best he can be and to always put his full effort forward. Nicholas Rose. Nicholas plays basketball and participates in chorus. In addition to playing golf and fishing, he volunteers at an annual golf tournament. He would like to thank Mrs. Baxter for making school and learning awesome. Ryan Sarney. Ryan volunteers at the NSC fair every year. He also participates in cross-country, track and field, and plays soccer. He would like to thank Mrs. Maffeo, his 5th grade teacher, because she taught him to be excited about school. Josiah Severin. Josiah has participated in cross-country and soccer. He also has volunteered at his church. He would like to thank Mrs. McGaffin, his 6th grade science teacher, who taught him the importance of working hard. Cooper Sharkansky. Cooper has participated in buddies at Easton Middle School and enjoys volunteering. He also plays soccer. He would like to thank Mr. Bowman for encouraging him to do his best at everything. Ian Silva. Ian plays the violin and string ensemble and chamber orchestra. He also regularly volunteers at his church. He would like to thank Mr. Benson because he has made learning music fun and has helped to continue doing orchestra. Gabe Silverman. Gabe plays basketball for Easton Middle School and Dana Barrows. He also hikes, specifically the Grand Canyon, Yosemite, Zion, and Bryce National Parks. He would like to thank Mr. Gargiulo because he was one of the most fun teachers and made world geography easy to understand. Aristoteles Stoliakos. Aristoteles is a member of Buddies at Easton Middle School. He also participates in baseball and basketball. He would like to thank Mr. Cortwell because he's a great teacher and friend. He could always rely on him. Olivia Stevens. Olivia is a peer leader and a member of Easton Middle School Health and Wellness Club. She also plays club field hockey and lacrosse. She would like to thank Mrs. Kelly for always being a positive influence and inspiring her to do her best with all she does. Olivia Stone. Olivia is a member of Buddies and a cadet in Girl Scouts. She has also been a member of Writing Club throughout the middle school. She would like to thank Mrs. Ribby for being a great friend and pushing her to do her best. John Sullivan. John is a member of PALS and a student council officer. He is a part of the charity Join Judy in Uganda, which supports women and children in Uganda. He would like to thank Mr. Smith because he made math enjoyable. Haley Tilo. Haley is a member of Buddies. She also plays softball and is a part of the school show choir. She would like to thank Miss Whalen because she has helped her to enjoy her middle school experience and has supported her throughout the past 3 years. Tova Tulu. Tova is a member of Buddies and Student Council. She's a vocal captain for Image Show Choir and likes to act. She would like to thank Mrs. Gaines for making her interested in learning and creating an environment that has allowed her to see what she is capable of. Martin Sankoff. Martin plays the piano and the saxophone. He also participates in jazz band at Easton Middle School. He would like to thank Mr. O'Brien for helping him to advance his writing skills and preparing him for the 8th grade. Ava Webb. Ava is a member of Buddies at Easton Middle School. She also dances outside of school. She would like to thank Mr. Corbiel for always making his class a welcoming environment and supporting her in learning throughout the year. Jacob Williams. Jacob volunteers at Lakewood over the summer. He also participates in soccer. He would like to thank Mrs. Wisnoskis, who has helped him throughout the whole school year to become the best student and person possible. Catherine Wilson. Catherine is a member of Buddies and the Student Council Vice President. She plays club and travel soccer and is the captain of the middle school team. She also plays lacrosse and volunteers at the Children's Museum. She would like to thank Mr. Cordial for his ongoing encouragement and inspiration as both a teacher and role model. Paige Winslow. Paige is a member of Buddies at Easton Middle School and participates in many volunteer activities. She would like to thank Mr. Cordial for inspiring her in many ways. Christopher Young. Christopher is a member of Buddies at Easton Middle School. He participates in Schools on Wheels. He also plays basketball and football. He would like to thank Mrs. Pratt for encouraging him to learn and making history fun. Andrew Zagami. Andrew plays baseball and football for the town of Easton. He also umpires for Easton Youth Baseball and volunteers at a landscaping company. He would like to thank Mr. O'Brien for always helping him when he needed encouragement. Jason Baylor. Jason plays soccer and lacrosse. He also participates in Buddies at Easton Middle School. He would like to thank Mr. Erickson because he sparked his interest in school and helped him to learn.
be elected an officer is an honor, which shows the trust that your classmates have in your leadership abilities. The accomplishments of this group, however, depend on all of you. Henry Ford said about working together as a group, coming together is a beginning. Keeping together is progress. And working together is success. This is the beginning. How you progress and what successes you have collectively is up to you. Opportunities exist each day for you to make your mark. The National Junior Honor Society is founded upon the principles of scholarship, leadership, service, character, and citizenship. In all your undertakings, may you always keep in mind these guiding principles. A candle is but a simple thing. It starts with just a bit of string. Yet dipped and dipped with patient hand, it gathers wax upon the string. Until complete in snowy white, it gives it last a lively light. Life seems so like that bit of string, each deed we do, a simple thing. Yet day by day, if on life's strand, we work with patient heart and hand, it gathers joy, makes dark days bright, and gives at last a lovely light. The candle has a distinct place in our society, and as such, it represents an incredible link that taps into our past. Candles radiate messages, messages of freedom and knowledge, messages of passion and warmth, messages of hope and guidance. The candles serve as a burning example, reminding us to enlighten, reminding us to inspire, and reminding us to lead. Kathleen, you and last year's members have enlightened, led, and inspired us all. We thank you for all your efforts. Your accomplishments have added to the history of this organization. New officers, please come forward as I call your name and light your candle. President, Larissa Martin. Vice President, Christina Gillis. Secretary, Molly Capiz. Treasurer, Sophia Davis. Historian, Abigail Hackett. Parliamentarian, Grace Housen. In accepting these positions, you have indicated your willingness to give the best in time and effort to carry out the principles of the National Junior Honor Society. It is a tremendous responsibility as well as a privilege. Our community today needs faithful and effective leaders. Your community is looking for you to lead. New officers, do you pledge your best efforts to these positions you now accept?
We do.
May your light illuminate the path for a successful year. At the end of your term of office, may that same light be passed on with a great satisfaction that much was accomplished for the welfare of our school and organization. New officers, you may now blow out your candles. Parents, family, friends, honored guests, Assistant Superintendent of Schools Christine Pruitt, and Superintendent of Schools Dr. Lucia Cabral, I present to you the 2019 inductees of the Easton Middle School chapter of the National Junior Honor Society.